So I don't have a good mark. That's what it is. Okay, so I think that we got to page, we got to page Tov Reish Lamed Dalet. I think we're at. Let me bring this up now. Okay, there it is. Bring this down here slowly. Okay, and I guess we'll read across the top. So we said the word Zachreno. And now it says like this. Va'ata yikaven lahasha rishimu shel kol ha'aros hanizkarim shehem hasheva gevuros d'sheva malchus d'kachbad chag v'shlish elyon t'feres. So he says there are 7, just looking at that again. Shehem hasheva gevuros the sheva malchus, so that the gevuros, Malchus has 10 spheros, and amongst them are the Gevuros. Is that what he means? Or I'm not sure. So he says the Sheva Malchus, the Kachbad Chag, those are the 7 upper, and the Shlish Elyon to Teferes. Shehein Misper Bav Riv, what are they in fact? They're the count of 6 Revui Havayos, so 6 of the Revua of 6 Havayos. Then he says some new idea. V'shnei netachim rishonim. Then there are 2. I think netachim is the best pieces. 2 pieces. Memizbech Revua Havaya Havaya the Shebetiferes. So then there's 2 pieces, or the 2 first pieces of the Havaya in a Revua form, Shebetiferes, together with the Malchus, the Mochin of the Mochin. Now, all of these different ideas, who said they were Malchus of Mochin? Where do we get that thought? Shebehem, Shehem Vav, which are 6 Havayos and Hamanukados. Yud K the Cholim, and the Yud K itself is Menukad apparently with a Cholim, Be'es spheres the Leah that go into the 10 spheres of Leah. By Yudei then the Seres Leah, and as a result of this, Leah goes through in the Sira, Kula, Mispheros on his Karas the Zer Anpen. She goes in the Seres Leah Kula, Mispheros on his Karas the Zah. So those spheros that correspond to Leah up at the top. So one thing that I could point out here is that the 7 that he's talking about is really the position of Leah. Leah is from the top, the Keser. Well, he says that he includes Kachbad, but he's from the top down to the Chazer, which includes the upper Shlish of Teferes. So let's go over, and a lot of this is really not understandable, 100%, I don't think. Let's look at number Kuf Kof Ches, and we repeat the black. It says, Ata Yikavin Lahasher Rishimo Shokala Oros and Iskarim, Shehem HaSheva Gevuros, the Sheva Malchius, the Kachbad Chog, V'Shlish Elyon, to Teferes. So there's 7 Gevuros here. Kachbad Chog is 6, and the Shlish Elyon to Teferes is another. So he says there's Malchius in that. So the RASHASH just cuts up everything and makes it in detail. After Na'asis and the Sidur shall call parts of Leah Mizer Anpen. Because up until this point, and we're still working on the word Zachreno, he said Nook Shtei Bechinos, so 2 aspects came into the Nook up to this point. Ha'achaz hi ha'mochim shal salam de'ima. I suppose he means the salam de'av as well. Let's just say like he says it. Shal ima, the Heidach Binos, the Gevuros, and Nikraim Ma'u Ben de Ben. Let's look at that again because I haven't seen that before. He says that the Hainu Binos of Gevuros, which is the 2 aspects of the left side, the upper part of the left side, and then Gevura, and they're called the Ma'u Ben de Ben. Ben is the left side. Here we're going with the last letter, the last of these Ma'u Ben de Ben is the Ben. So this is, we're concentrating on that. It's the ben means here what's coming from the left side of down into Zeir Anpin. So his pashtuch besoch Leah v'Rachel. So ultimately, those binos and gevuros get spread into Rachel and Leah. So but he says Leah and Rachel. Kasher b'chelik ha'elyon shehu kachbad chesed gevura v'shlish elyon to Tiferes. In other words, that's the highest part, top part of Zeir Anpin. And just looking at Zeir Anpin as a human body, let's say, just looking at it from the top to the chest, all of that shefah is going to go into the nukva niknas b'soch eses spheres the Leila. They go in, those 7 correspond to the 10 spheres of Leah, because Leah is in that Leah's position. She's the upper malchus. Now they're going in, so they're shining from the back of Zeir Anpin into the nukva, who's on the back, into Leah and to Rachel. So the second thing that we've talked about that comes in is these gevuros themselves in the form of a revuah. Each one of the has 10 spheres. Call the Mochin, the fact that we haven't discussed previously, I don't believe, is that these Mochin, each one of them has 10 spheros. So the Malchus part of their 10 spheros, he beginning revuah shel shem avaya kazeh, and he shows it to us like this: Yud, Yud K, Vav K. Vuhan nikro Malchus the Mochin. They're called the Malchus of the Mochin. Ayin Sham Ayin the shefah Hakavanot. He has something down here in the shefah Hakavanot. Let's look at that just for a second. Let me make a mark so I can get back to that. And let me see here what he says. He says at the bottom. At the bottom he says, Im Malchus the Mochin. Ayin Pesach Benayim Be'inyan Hakavanot Kedushos Ubod Lutzio. So in regards to the Kadosh, I think he means to say there, the Kedushos Ubod Lutzio. He says that the kavana here is on the count that ultimately goes into malchus. So this is a little idea. He says that when you look at what goes into Zeir Anpin, and then from Zeir Anpin it gets transferred into the nukva, Ki b'kol hamshachas hashemos nimshachim etzem hashemos, that is the real essence of the shemos, to Zeir Anpin, and then the count of the names goes to the Nook. She's always the one that keeps track of everything, or guess, or distributes whatever, but it comes in a more physical form, which is a count. He said to call chush b'sihura, because counting, all the counting goes with the Nook. He's quoting, I guess, goes with the moon. Moon meaning Malchus. Malchus has to do with the count. I was just thinking about it physically, how do I see counting in our moon? I don't think so. But he says actually it's a reflection. So I don't know, trying to see what the metaphor there would be. The call chush b'sihra. The lechein nodl Zeir Anpin as a teisha al yonis v'hanuk notelis as a malchus shehi bechinas cheshbon a mispah. So Zeir Anpin, he takes the 9 upper spheros, and then the nukva notelis as a malchus, which is the 10 spheros. She doesn't take the juice of it, she doesn't take the essence of it, she takes the count of it. Shehi bechinas cheshbon a mispah. Okay, the malchus. So now what you're doing is you're sending, let's say streaming, I was saying that word, or extending out. The malchus, yesh the kavod the hamshech as a malchus. The kavana should be that you're going to extend down these malchus, the hind the cheshbon a mispar, you're going to have this count. The hind the mispar shall revuah havaya, which is 72. So that's a fact. So I don't know what to do with it exactly, but it's how you get the count. But that's what he says. He says the essences in Zer Anpin goes to the upper spheres of I guess of the Nook. But the Malchus actually is what's going to her is going to be the Cheshbon. I guess that's the 10th. Like you add up. I don't know. I think you add up 9 numbers, and then the 10th one is going to be the total, something like that. I'm not sure. But there's a vihine. Go back to the regular writing of the in the Tiv. Is a vihine Mochin azman nisharna b'soch leah laolam. So he says what happens now is that the Mochin themselves. Vihine Mochin azman nisharna b'soch leah laolam. Al pi basi. This according to the Basi the Gani. He says, "Avaval harivuyim shel koch bad chesed gevura v'shlish elyon deteferish yesh b'soch leah neknasa b'soch leah b'derek ma'aver bilvad." They only pass through leah. Of v'chemshech yotzim kulam, and then as we go on, we see that all of them come out b'toch leah from leah. U'mishirim rak rishimo in leah. So eventually they all come into leah. And in Leah, it passes them through, but a Rishimo remains. As we see in other places, Rishimo always remains. So then it said, V'etzem ha'gavuros yordan the Rachel, the etzem, that is, I think he means the light of the moch itself. He said, V'yordan the Rachel, the v'nois, he said, the nasr b'zer anpen, and remove her from zer anpen. So when we want to, I guess that's the intention, the ma'atzel, that Leah is going to be removed. Motziim is called a rivuyim v'chagavuros b'toch Leah. We take all of the rivuyim. We take all of the gavuros from Leah. Mashi'irim ba rak rishimo hanisher ba la'olam. So only is left in Leah is a rishimo here that remains inside of her forever. So since now we see that she has a rishima the gavuros, so she has. He's comparing the rishimo that's within her as if she had the whole thing, or as if it's powerful as his words are. Because she has this rishima. In order why? That she should be able to receive the shefah that's coming from the Gevuros, ki yesh lo es a shefah ma'atzma, because she has it himself. She doesn't need it from Zer Anpin anymore. The Bekachna Neser is called parts of Leah and Zer Anpin, and therefore a separation takes place between the two of them, and that's the parts of from Zer Anpin. Ki Zer Anpin nishar kula chasadim. All he has emptied out all of his Gevuros. Of Leah Nishaeris Kula Gavuros, and she remains Kula Gavuros, but he's saying it on the basis of this Rishimo. So he says, so number Kuf Kof Tes, it says, Shehem Mizbar Vod Rivuya Havayos, there is a count of 4 different Rivuyos of Havaya. So he said, maybe give it Shehem Gavuros, so since they're Gavuros, Al Kain, Yecholin the Yekavin, the Shem Kavaya B'Rivua, because you should think of the Havaya in the form of a Rivua like this. And he shows us the Rivua. Yeah, Rivua Huba B'Chinas Dinim V'Ach, because that's the fact of the Rivua. The Rivua has to do with Dinim and Ach. Dinim, which are Ach. And they're now in Leah. So let me just go on. Now, this idea. He said there's 2 pieces, the 2 first pieces of the count. They remain a Revuah, Havaya Shabbat, they're in Teferis. In Malchus, the Mochin, together with the Malchus of the Mochim, Iman the Ranchi Shabbahem, together with the Ranchi, which is all the lights. Shehem Vav Havayos Menukados, which are 5 Havayos. I said 5, it's 6. 6 Havayos Menukados, which are Menukad. The Yud K the Chola the cholim be'eses spheres the Leah, and then there's the first part is the Yud K, is in the eses spheres of Leah. So he says, the whole thing does not come in. Now we're talking about Tiferes. So we said that Tiferes is actually cut up, and we're talking about the upper third of Tiferes. So what enters into the Tiferes here is only going to be that. So he's only the first half of it. What's the first half of it? Yud K, Vav K. Yeshtam Arba in the Tachim. You could see this as four different pieces. Netach Rishon is the letter Yud. Then he says the Netach Sheni, who Yud K, as you see how that goes. Netach Shlishi would be the Yud K Vav, and Netach Revi'ah would be Yud K Vav K. So he said, V'hinech Shlish Elyon de Tiferes, that's what we're focusing on right now. Lokech Shnei Nekachim Rishonim Shehem Yud and Yud K. Once again, the Shlish Elyon de Tiferes is going to receive that. Hamaramazim Neged Osis Yud K de Chavaya. V'lechein Niknesach B'Shnei Netachim Yud and K. B'nikud cholim, why? Shehem shlish elyon de Tiferes, because they are composed of the upper third of Tiferes. Shenikud cholim, that has a nikud of cholim. So he said, now number Kuf Lamed Aleph. Number Kuf Lamed Aleph says, V'ayidezin in the Seres later kulach of Mesfiras and Iskeres the Zer Anpin. So the Mesfiras that we're talking about, which is the Kochbad Chag and upper third of Tiferes. All of these are going to be in the Neseres Leah Kulam Spheres and Iskarif in those spheros. So Al Yedecha Shenesha Rishimo Shal the Gevurah B'Soch Leah. So since there remains this Rishimo of the Gevuras that are going to be inside, they're permanently there in Leah. Zer Anpin Nishar Im Shefah HaChosadim Bilvad, he only has that. The Benoisah Devad, so if Benoisah Lekach, and additional to this, Yesh the Leah as Etzem Mochin that Salam the Ima. Leah has the Oros, let's say Etzem is Or of the Mochin, which is Panimi to the Mochin that Salam the Ima Shalo Al Yedei Zer Anpin. She has them now for herself, and she doesn't need to keep getting them from Zer Anpin. Nigrad Hanasira Bebein Zal the Leah. This causes a separation between Zal and Leah. She doesn't need to get from him. Kavanas Elul Naasim Koden Zachrona L'Chaim. So this is Zachrona L'Chaim. So this Kavana Naasim is before you say the word Zachrona L'Chaim. When you say the word V'Zachrona, Maschila the Hachnis of Gavuros the Sok Rachel Kolachman, that's where that happens. So he says that the Nesira of Leah takes place before you say Zachreno. When you say Zachreno, then they're going to go into Rachel. So let's read a little bit more. It says, V'atar Yekave Lahamshe Kol Havav Gavurus V'Shlish Elyon de Tiferes Malaya. So all that's left over besides the Rishima, we're going to take all of that, Malaya, the Keser, the Nekudas Ach, the Rachel. So we're going to take it into the backside of Rachel now. I don't know what he means in the Kudas Acharim. Rachel is on the back side. Let's see what he says. So now that we see that the Rishima of the 7 upper Gevuros remain, the Rishima, the parts of Leah, Shehim Malchus Ilor, she's called the upper Malchus Omedet Bechetzi Akuma Al Yonda the Ach the Zer Anpin. Mekuvanim Ata, so now the Gavan is going to go like this. In order to stream the 7 Gevuros, Elul, the parts of Rachel and Nikras Nook. So everything except that Rishimo is going to go down. Which is on the lower half of the backside of Zer Anpin, beside Nekuda, which is just a Nekuda at this point. V'kach linsor as Keter the Rachel Mizir Anpin, and in this way, we're going to be able to remove the Keter of Rachel. Ki ma'achar sheyesh the Keter the Rachel es ha'gevuros mitzad atzman shelo ayid Zer Anpin, because now what went into Leah is now going to go into Zer Anpin, go into Rachel. And Rachel is going to be her, and where's it going to go? It's going to the top part. Let's read that again. He kik me'achar sheyesh the Keter the Rachel es ha'gevuros mitzad atzman shelo ayid Zer Anpin. Ain't is a kukul the amba be'achra, if she doesn't have to sit on his backside, he is to remain there. He yesh the as a shefah ma'atzma. She has shefah. She has a permanent shefah of bekach in the seres mekesed zer anpin. Hinecha b'yom harishon the Rosh Hashanah. Let's look at this. On the first day of Rosh Hashanah, neknasim agavuros asoch yud alos spheros kachbat chagat nahem. The Keter the Rachel. All of the spheres come in there. Yud Aleph Teva Shebizachrenu. There are actually 11 verses, Zachrenu, L'chaim, etc. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through them and see all the different parts of how she's removed, how she actually becomes independent. So there are 11 parts there. It's he counts the 10 as an 11 because he includes all the different aspects that are going to be in the Naser. So therefore our kavana now is on the word zachrenu. The hachnes of gevurus, the Keter, the Rachel. Now let's get the phrase Keter the Keter. So we're talking about Keter having 10 spheros. So now what we're going to be removing is the top part of the Keter, which is the Keter the Rachel. So he said, once again, let me read again. What happens now? You save Zachrenu. So once again that the process of bringing the Rishimo being left behind in Leah is Inyan of Leah. That takes place before Zachrenu. Now you say the magic word Zachrenu. Then what happens here is the Haknes of Gevurus, the Keter, the Rachel. Now they're going into the very top of the top of Rachel. V'achar b'tevis l'chaim. Then the next word is going to be the l'chaim. They're going to go the Chochmah, the Keter, the Rachel. So it's really just working on the Keter of Rachel. We're talking about the first day of Rosh Hashanah. V'tevis melech niknasa the bina the Keter, the Nook, v'chein b'shar tevos al zu haderech. So everything else is going to go this way. And we're just talking here at this time about the Keter of the Keter, and then the Keter, that is the Keter of Rachel, and removing all of those spheros in the Keter of Rachel. So let's see Kuf Lamed Gimel. Let me see where this actually physically is. Where is Kuf Lamed Gimel? Okay, Lahamshach the Keter HaNisker the Nook, Chelik beGevuras the Gufa the Zer Anpin. But there's another thing that we do also. From the body of Zer Anpin itself, she's going to get a certain. So up to this point, we're talking about what was given into Leah through Zer Anpin into Leah, leaving behind a Rishimo. And then that whole body of shefah that came into Leah without the Rishimo is going to wind up going into Rachel. V'gam lahamshek l'kaser ha'nizkar the Nook chelik megavuros the gufa the Zer Anpin, but also a portion of this is going to come from the body of Zer Anpin, mishnei shlisha teferis, from the lower 2/3 of teferis. Now I guess I want to explain this out. And there is a note down below, and if we get to it, we'll see. There's 2 different ways that the gevuros come into Rachel. Ha'achazim is sphera the sphera. One is from one sphera on the back of Zer Anpin, which is from Zer Anpin into the Nook v'kolomer. Mekased the Zer Anpin, the Keter the Nook. V'chein Shaar spheras hanimshachim mekach bat chagat dezah. So then all the rest of the spheros that are coming down here from the Kachbad Chagat the Zer Anpin, that is those upper 7 parts, the Kachbad Chagat the Nook, then it's going to go to the same place. They're going to go sphere to sphere. That's one way that she gets shefah. Another way that she gets shefah here, he says, one second. So he misbar, who he meperik the sphere. What does that mean? He says, Ki the Nook omedet bechetzi hakuma tachton de Zer Anpin. She's from the Chaza Lamata of Zer Anpin, to the lower 2/3 of his teferis downwards. Kasher Bekesed the Nook Makavon Keneged Shtei Shlishi Tiferet the Zer Anpin. So you see that she's actually where the Rachel is located. She's located behind these 2/3 of the Tiferet Zer Anpin. Shaar Teisha Sfiras the Nook Mukuvanas Keneged Shlosha Sfiras Nai the Zer Anpin. So he says all the rest of the 9 spheres of the Nook are really directed Keneged Shlosha Sfiras Nai the Zer Anpin. This is what we want to say. This is that where is she really located? She's located behind the Nai Zer Anpin. The Zer Anpin Asher B'Kol Achas B'Chem Nachalachas L'Shlosha Parakim, that each one of them therefore is divided into 3 prakim, 3 joints, 3 pieces. V'Kugona Chochma the Nook. Let's take this. Omeda Keneged B'Perik Elyon the Netzach the Zer Anpin, because Netzach now is going to have 3 different pieces. It will be 9 total for Netzach Hod Yisod. The Nimsa Shetesha Prakim deny the Zer Anpin, Hem Keneged Tesha Spheres the Nook. V'ofen Shekal Sphere the Nook Mekuvana Keneged B'Perik the Zer Anpin. V'Lechem Yesh the Kavin Shal Gevurus an Nimsoch B'Shnei Shlishi Tiferes the Tachton the Zer Anpin, Niknase B'Kesed the Nook. So he says, V'Lechem Yesh the Kavin Shal Gevurus themselves, all the Gevuros, line up that the 9 prakim as Zer Anpin are going to be by the 9 spheres of the Nook. And in this way, it removes the Keter of the Nook, Mishnei Shlish Tiferes the Zer Anpin, from those 2/3 of Zer Anpin. Let's move on and to number Kuf Lamadalit. So, Kuf Lamadalit Shehem Vav K. Benikud Cholam Ubov Netachim, Beis Netachim, Beis Netachim Achronos. So they're going to be what are we talking about? We're talking about when we cut up Zer Anpin, that this is what's going to be brought. Shnei Shlishi Tiferes HaTachtonis the Zer Anpin really corresponds to the letter Vav K Benikud Cholam, because the Cholam goes with Tiferes, as we said before. That's what's going to be actually transferred over there. We'll see maybe how it looks in a second. He says, V'linsor, Osach b'shnei shlishi Tiferes the Zer Anpin v'chein al derek zera be'eser Tiferes niskaros. Agiden the sin is a Mochin v'chagavur shel shnei shlishi Tiferes the Zer Anpin, by giving those Mochin and those Gavuros of the lower 2/3 of Zer Anpin, the Keter the Nook, and they're going to shine into the Keter the Nook, behind the Beperik the Sphera, so it's one from the joint of the very top part of the Nai are going to shine into the Nook. And then the Seres the Keter the Nook, Mishnei Shlish Tiferes HaTachton the Zer Anpin, and they come as a result of the radiance from the lower 2/3 of Zer Anpin. V'chein b'shar eser tables and of the phrase Zachrei the Chaim Melech Chavetz V'Chaim, etc. And then the Seres Kol HaSpheres the Keter the Nook, all of the spheres of the Keter the Nook are going to be removed. Mishnei Shlish Tiferes the Zer Anpin. Ki al Yidei Shal Nook Lo Kechas HaShefah Mizer Anpin, because of the fact that she's able to receive the shefah Mizer Anpin El Svira Shalom into her Svira. Then the Seres Hasechel Svira Mizer Anpin, it causes the Nasira of the Tiferes of the Seres Hasechel Svira Mizer Anpin. Let me read it one more time. He said Lo Kechas HaShefah Mizer Anpin El Svira Shalom, to a Svira of her. And then the Seres Osa Spheres Mizer Anpin, so then she moves, that is removed then from Zer Anpin. That's the share today.